think.
Right.
It's like having an order for anything.
have to have a
It's so
routine,
that you don't miss doing
Oh, yeah.
something. Do you have an order when you set up gear?
Oh, I thought you were going to say tattooing.
No, I know you have an order set up
Very
tattooing,
much
but
for
that almost stems from it needing to be hygienic. Like
Absolutely.
you
That's-
can't touch things after touching certain
And
things.
Talking to younger tattooers, that's a thing. Build a routine. That's how you don't fuck up.
Yeah.
Is you do things in a specific order, and then you'll execute it and not touch things accidentally. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Setting up gear, I'm trying to for tour.
Mm-hmm.
Be more organized with how we do it. I have just out of necessity, you would do your cab first,
Yeah.
and then drop the lines to the pedal board, and then I would take my guitar out last.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now with, I'm sort of in charge of running the speaker cables.
Right.
And we've almost got a routine now with the lights as well.
I know. I'm
and how
sort
we're
of
kinda
like
doing it.
I mean, like technically,
But we should practice it.
we should definitely practice. But it's like we kind of build the stage. So it's like what goes the furthest to stage left. That's all my stuff. So
And that changes depending on the venue and how we're loading.
and
to
how
the
you're loading
stage.
in exactly
Yeah.
because sometimes we're on stage left of the stage and so it's like okay we're actually starting with your stuff
Yeah.
so what ends up going up but I think like sort of building it getting all the heavy things on stage and then you kind of branch off and get all your stuff all the things that you're responsible for. I get all my things, which I've now taken responsibility of getting your bass out of its case
I
and
appreciate
getting
it.
your strap on.
That's the biggest time saver is you getting the bass. I
Yeah.
think the main reason, and I noticed this after our last Indianapolis show, and I never really thought about it, because every band I've ever been in sets up the same way every show. In any
Yeah.
band, so like drummer's going to be in the middle, and the guitars are left, and then there's bass, and then another guitarist on the right, or whatever the
Right,
formula is.
yeah.
Not all bands do that.
Oh yes, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
Not all bands do
I
that
know.
at all. And so they just kind of like
Who wants to be over here?
they mill
Who
around
wants to be
they
over
mill around
there?
on stage, and they sort of just like put stuff wherever, and it takes them so long to set up. And I'm watching this band, and I'm like what do you do at practice? Like how do you
Well, you know what I think that's a sign of? It's a sign of a band of all independent members.
Right.
So we're, as you know, King Serpent, also Cadaver Dogs, Skulks, Gooding, like all the bands we've been in, we've interacted with one another so much, like to the point where the band is the
Right.
entity rather than 5 people in the band that are playing their individual instruments and doing their individual things. Which, there's no right or wrong by any means, but like in a band where everyone's sort of an individual, it doesn't really matter where you set up because you're just going to play your instrument where you're standing.
Right,
And
right.
that's totally
I just
fine.
think it makes us by having a stage plot, which
Oh,
most
yeah.
venues ask for, but then
Yeah.
here's how we're going to set up, and you and I, even we almost have like a game plan while the opening band is playing, and we're like, we're going to put gear here,
Yeah.
we're going to lift up this first, this
Yeah.
is where we're going, and then that way
Get all that out of the way.
as soon as they're done, there's no
it's go
confusion, it's
time.
just we execute, and it means we can do it in 15 minutes or less, just bap,
Right.
bap, bap, bap.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. But
It's fun, I'm excited, there's a little puzzle every night.
every night I have a missing puzzle piece right now.
A
which
band
I'm
dropped
kind of
off? Is
Bummed
that what you're talking about? Yeah.
Yes, band dropped off the Philly show.
I'm sure we'll get a couple more.
I know it was funny though because I was like, shit, I have to reach back out to bands. So I was like, okay, I have to make
But
my
you
little
have your list.
my spiel. I had my list, and what I was able to do was go back to the list that I already had, look at those bands' profiles, most of which just never responded, and I
Yeah.
didn't reach back out to them. But I went to their profiles, saw who they played with. I probably reached out to 8 or 9 bands.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping. I heard back from one. I think they were called. Well, so the band that dropped off was called Micro Girl.
Micro Girl.
And I was pretty excited about them. They would have been fun. But another band I reached out to that unfortunately cannot play was called Micro Goblin.
Oh,
And I was
hilarious.
like, that would have been really funny
To just
if we
change Micro
replaced
Girl
Micro
with
Girl with
Goblin.
Micro Goblin, but they're unavailable. So that was kind of a bummer. I'm not letting it get me down. I let it get me down for like 1 second, and then I started to get a little bit stressed because like the Charleston promoter has sort of ghosted me, but he also has confirmed everything. So I'm like, we're showing up.
Yeah.
And the Charleston bands are very responsive. So I'm like, regardless, we're playing
Yeah.
somewhere. But I'm just like, oh God, getting down to the wire. I did all of my little band check-ins today just to figure out lineups. And another funny thing that keeps happening, which we're playing small venues,
Yeah.
sometimes with bands that hardly play out. And normally when you put a show together, you sandwich the out-of-town band. And like 3 or 4 different venues are like, okay, so like we'll go first, and like the other local band will go second, and you guys will go third. And I'm like, guys,
No.
no. But there's some places where we're doing that because at this point I'm like, I don't give a fuck, like whatever.
Yeah.
But other places I've said we are going to be, well, and it's like the legitimate venues.
They know.
They know they're putting us in the middle, which is great. And I'm just gonna bank on people being intrigued by us.
Right.
Like maybe we should, like I'll like have my outfit on the whole
yes.
time. I won't.
We should look as cool
We
as
should look
possible
cool
the
so
whole
people
time.
will at least want to stay for like the first song, and then hopefully after the first song they'll want to see the whole set.
I think they will.
None of the shows are terribly late. Even the late shows,
Started at like 9,
they
right?
start at 9, but it's also like 30-minute sets, 3 bands. We're in the middle. Okay, we're playing at 10 o'clock. That's very normal. There's nothing crazy. I don't think there's a single show where we're playing past like 11,
Dope.
which
I
is
love
really
that.
nice. I don't even know if the shows are going to go past 11 type of thing. So that'll be cool. I'm excited about that. Some earlier shows,
Well, some festivals.
some festivals. But yeah, so we're still on.
Yeah, I think there's going to be more hiccups even before we leave.
I know.
I'm sure.
I know. I'm just like, it's fine.
Yeah.
We're going.
We're
We're
doing
doing it. I'm booking all of our hotels tomorrow.
No matter what,
I'm
we're-
just going to book non-refundable hotel rooms.
Cool.
Even if we don't play, we're going to stay in
Stay.
bumfuck Indiana or
We're
something.
going. We'll be on tour no matter what. Whether we play or not, we'll still
We'll
be
have all
on,
of our gear.
Yeah, we'll be on tour. I just saw a band today post a story like, oh no, our venue in Columbus, it was specifically, that's why the Algo
Yeah.
showed it to me. It was like, our venue in Columbus like said they couldn't accommodate us because of staffing issues, so we're looking for a house or anywhere.
Where on earth was that?
They posted it like 5 days ago, and
Yeah.
I just saw it today.
Oh.
But
Seems weird. I wonder where that was. We were just watching the news, and this has nothing to do with the actual
Go
news.
on.
They were showing some B-roll of whatever the story was, and it was just like people walking on a sidewalk, and kind of in the front of the frame of the scene was this girl walking, but she looked like a teenager. She looked under 18. My question is, what is the legality of B-roll?
yeah,
Can you do that?
so
This is on. I mean, this was our
Local news.
but showing B. I mean, it's from Washington D.C., so it was obviously from like the National NBC archives or something, or not archives, just B-roll, whatever, for the day.
So I'm unsure about it with minors, for
Yeah.
sure. But you do not have to get people's permission
Yeah.
if they're in a public space.
Which maybe it's just being in a public space.
So if you go into a business or into somewhere, that changes. But
Yeah.
if they are in a park or in maybe even if it was a national gallery or something that is technically open to the public, then you can be filmed and they can use footage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This girl was just like, she was the only person you were paying attention to
Yeah.
in this footage. And she was probably like between 15 and 17. And
Yeah.
for all I know, she's 18, but she wasn't giving 18.
I only
vibes.
know this information because I see so many videos now of people at protest or parades or on campuses,
Yeah.
and someone's like, "You can't film here. You can't be filming me." And then I've just seen people like
respond to
respond to it, and then actual like,
What are the
what are
laws?
the laws about it?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, if you're in a shared public space, I think parks, even if it's on a campus, if it's in common areas or
Yeah.
something where anybody's allowed to be, if you're in someone's footage, they can use it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I think if it gets more complicated if you're making money.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that works. You know, if
Mm-hmm.
they're selling the footage,
I don't know.
then I don't think you could use it. That's why when you watch like those prank shows or something, they blur out people in the background. who are
Yeah,
not
because
part of it.
they're monetizing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really wondered about the minors thing because nowadays everyone's so up in arms about like covering kids' faces and Instagram posts and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that, and I just wasn't sure. Yeah, what the laws, what the
All right, listeners,
everything.
if someone has some insight
Yeah,
on this, please share.
seriously. Yeah, just saw that. I think a couple episodes ago we were talking about bridging the age gap, and we were talking about tattooing, doing the temporary tattoos, and how it's people from all walks of life,
Yeah.
all ages, all everything. And I had another kind of unique bridging the age gap experience the other day at the barn. where I've talked about you have 12-year-olds interacting with 75-year-olds.
Right.
But there was a moment, there's a woman who's in her 70s who rides at my barn, and she's incredible. I'm just, every day I'm like, I just want to be her. But she has this horse, Shorty, and he just had like, horses, they have fur, they get little funguses and stuff. And he had what looked like little fungus on his back. He also is on stall rest, so he's not being ridden, so he's not getting whatever. And she was just talking to one of the owners of the barn and was like, what do you think I should do? And the woman was just like, I think you need to like get on a stool, like put him in the wash stall, get on a stool and just scrub the fuck out of his back. And Shorty, he's not a huge horse, but
Yeah.
he's a horse.
He's a horse. Yeah.
All that to say is, the owner was like, get on a stool and scrub your horse's back. Like,
Yeah.
I know that you're. I mean, I don't know how old she is, but like in
Over
at least
70.
her mid 70s. And so sure enough, here's Laura on this step stool with like scrubber in hand and hose, and she's going to town, and Shorty's moving around. She keeps having to maneuver all this stuff. And I just love that at the barn, you would ask that of, you would expect that from a 12-year-old and a 75-year-old and every age in between.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's just what we do.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of I don't really know. I'm not spitting it out very well, but the feeling of it was,
Well, it's fun, and it's also like, all right, Laura, if you're here,
you're going to do this.
then you're going to do it.
It was like, yeah, it wasn't like, oh, well, let me see if
She wasn't
like
being treated differently.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or let me see if one of the guys can do
Right.
it, or maybe ask one of the younger girls if they can do it. It was like, you're fully capable of doing this. And it wasn't a mean thing. It was like, no, it should be an easy fix, and I believe and trust that you are fully capable of doing this.
I wonder.
And same thing, you do the same thing, like I said, there's 5-year-olds that ride in the barn, and they are putting the bridle on,
I know,
and they
it's
are
cute.
doing all this stuff. It's cool.
So the term turnout is when the horses are turned out into the field and they're
Into
allowed
paddocks
to romp around, and it gets off energy and what you want to do.
When they're out of their stall but not
I
being
was just
ridden.
going to use the phrase turnout, and people may not know what that means if you're like when you turn
Oh,
out a
okay,
horse.
yeah.
But I wonder if Shorty was turned out when it's a ton of sun, if that would actually help eliminate.
Here's the problem.
The
Shorty
fur.
can't be turned out right now. So actually the problem is he's not getting sunlight.
That probably makes a huge difference.
Yeah,
Because
he can't be trusted to not romp around. He has a hoof injury.
Yeah.
And so they're able to take him out and like hand graze.
Yeah.
But I bet that is he's not getting
Needed
the
the
sunlight
sun,
on his
which
back
he
to
normally
kind
would.
of
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Yep. So
Ponies. I had a really fun time.
did you like coming out?
I did. Yeah. I went out to the
Yay.
barn Sunday. Motorcycles going by right now.
Motorcycles going
We'll
by.
see if it makes it to the audio. And we were sort of doing this whirlwind to the barn.
Oh,
and then,
at the barn at like 8:15 in the morning.
and then rushing to Father's Day events with
Yeah,
my
drive
family,
2.5
which is half
hours to your
away.
parents' house. Yeah.
I made the mistake, not a mistake, it was very fun, but I was trying to work on my computer, and so I was editing songs, and I'm watching Liz on,
Yeah, you're on the deck, so you're
I'm-
outside, but
I'm
you have your
outside.
headphones
Phones
on,
on.
your laptop.
but yeah, so much dust right away. It was like,
Oh, I didn't even think
it
about
was just
that.
like,
Well, yeah, and the ring's dusty because
Oh,
it hadn't
yeah,
rained.
yeah,
and
yeah.
Oh, yeah. It just turns into this big
immediately,
cloud.
I like couldn't
yeah.
even like see what I was like working on. I was like, what is going
I
on?
didn't even think about
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
No. And then I was inundated with cats just like rubbing on me.
Cats. And then people showed up.
I know, now
wanted to
people are
talk.
yapping at me.
I mean, you wonder why barn hours are significantly longer than normal hours. It's because of all these distractions.
Mm-hmm. Every time it's
and
like okay, I'll be 1 hour, and then it's like
4 hours later.
It's like a SpongeBob meme.
I really, if I'm just having one
4
lesson or
hours
I'm just
later.
riding one horse from doorstep back to doorstep, 4 hours.
Yeah.
And that's like kind of taking my time. That's not rushing. That's doing everything properly. That's on a day where you really have to groom, really have to tack, all that stuff. 4 hours.
I tattooed a horse today.
Oh, yeah.
No, I didn't tattoo the horse.
No.
I tattooed a horse on a human.
Yeah.
But we did some editing, so we sort of went back and forth for like 30 minutes talking about the design, and I drew this horse, and he was bucking, and he was like, "Oh, it'd be cool if he had a saddle on him," and I was like, "Okay," and then I just like drew the saddle from memory. You know, I made it look more like a Western
Oh, you
saddle.
you do Western?
Yeah, I made it more, but
so it
somewhere
had
in
a
bet-
little horn.
somewhere, but no, because I had a lasso covering that up. But he was just like, "How'd you even know what that looked like?"
Well,
And I was like,
I'm married to a
wow.
horse girl.
Well, let me tell you.
There's one in my apartment, and sometimes there's two,
I've seen-
and
seen many a
seen
saddle.
many pictures and videos.
Many a
and
saddle, my friend.
I literally was just cleaning a saddle 2 days ago.
He was just watching me like with the iPad, and I was just like line.
That's
line.
fun. Oh, that's cool. I'll have to pay. You sent me the photo, but I really didn't look at it because I was busy. I was not busy today at the store, which made me turn busy, frantically just following every tattooer in Columbus.
Yeah, which you know,
on the New Black's Instagram.
probably
Which
something
is
we
just-
should have done
probably
before.
yeah, but you never know. I really like to kind of, not saying that this,
curate.
not even that. I like to give things an organic sort of first try. Let's see how it bites just on its own, which I think then it sort of shows you where the gaps are, where the demand is, where things are. So, and I feel like we do that with most things
Yeah.
that we do, where it's like, let's just put it out there, do the normal pushing, but nothing over the top. That's why we didn't immediately start paying for ads
Right.
for music or for business. That's why we really tried to kind of keep things as word of mouth as possible in the beginning, which I really think gives it, like I said, this nice base layer, this foundation where we know, okay, this is what it's capable of doing on its own.
Yeah.
Where do we need to supplement? And today, I sold one roll of paper towels, and I said, fuck this. I'm supplementing by following real people, though.
Yeah.
Going in and actually
Well, it's funny
just...
because last week was a great week for us. I felt like pretty consistent in
Yeah.
sales every day.
Yeah. And I'd be so curious to talk to the guys who run the other big
Yeah.
tattoo supply store, just to see, like, do you guys have days where it's completely dead? Like, are there
Oh,
just
I
days where...
guarantee they
And I'm
do.
sure they do, and I think that's just the nature of retail. Some days people need things, and some days they don't.
Yeah.
And a lot of the things we sell are, you buy packs of things, or you buy
Right.
rolls. So it's like you're going to have them for a while. You don't need to buy them even weekly. So I think at this point, it's a matter of branching out to just more people in general, so that maybe the same people aren't coming over and over again, but we're getting more people coming just daily.
Yeah.
So I did that today. That was fun.
We're coming up on, this week is the 1 year anniversary of me losing all feeling in my left hand.
Oh, wow.
It was this time
It's
last
already
year.
been a year? Really?
Mm-hmm.
I guess so.
But
I thought about that today.
I looked back. So a lot of times what happens is, because I book so far out, I'll have clients come like exactly a year later.
Oh, yeah, uh-huh.
And I saw the Soap Girl show and like pictures of me grinding the basement
yeah.
and other stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, that's when my ulnar nerve got compressed. And all of a sudden I could not use my left hand, but I
So-
still tried to play a show.
In this past year, you've interacted with maybe a handful of people who have had some sort of
I think
ulnar
it's like when you
nerve.
buy a car, you see it everywhere.
Yeah, but like more and more people are like, oh yeah, I have this crazy
Well, I called
symptom.
it. Now I could call it out. Now
Yeah.
I know what it is.
Yeah.
And yeah, at least I'd say 5 or 6 probably.
Yeah,
that-
handful.
at least. Who were like, oh yeah, they're telling me this. They're like, oh yeah, like I didn't work for a few weeks because, I had this like thing where I lost the feeling in my hand, and I was like, was it these particular fingers? And then they do this, and they're like, oh yeah, like I couldn't even put it in my pocket. I'm like, yeah, buddy, I had that exact same fucking thing happen.
Yeah. Where did it stem from for most people? Was it all completely different?
Pretty different. I
Yeah.
think a few were injuries.
Yeah.
That one person had completely shattered their elbow.
Ugh. Jesus Christ.
And then other, I think just work. I think also desk jobs.
Oh.
So you rest almost that area.
Yeah.
And just, I think it being there for so long, it fucks up your arm and sensitivity and stuff.
That's why I sit really high at work.
Oh, yeah.
I keep my chair up
We
really,
bought
really
that
high
chair on purpose.
so that I'm like my hands are going
Yeah.
down almost. So there's no real way to do this. The only thing I'm concerned about is then my head is sort of going down, and I'm like,
Oh,
I've
yeah.
heard that like that gravity will like pull your skin down.
Oh, see, I thought you were going to say what I worry. One, people always comment when I'm tattooing how erect I sit.
Yeah.
I try to sit up very straight. I don't want to get like a lump on the back of my neck.
Yeah.
And that's what people get who are like looking down all the time. The little like node.
I've never had an Apple Watch, but I know that you can set it to where it'll tell you like, all right, it's time to stand up.
Yeah, that's why I
And-
took mine off.
Yeah, well, right. But I can see like today, aside from being really slow at the store, I was really busy with every other part of work shit that I have. And for a good 2.5 hours, I was just at the computer fucking hacking away.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is probably, I should get up. I need to move.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even like gone to the bathroom or anything. And I was like, this is when you would need your Apple Watch to be like, get up,
I bet
move
you can set your
around.
phone to tell you.
My brain can tell me,
Okay.
and it did tell me. But I could see how people, if you have a job that keeps you engaged enough,
Of course, yeah. I think
where
especially now, there's a big issue. I was talking with my client today because he works in the tech sector, specifically on AI projects, and it's like this thing has happened with developers. Like people keep saying that people are going to work less, but because it's getting so much easier and you can accomplish those B and C tasks that
Right.
you've been putting off, that actually you're working more.
yeah,
So you set one agent, to work on something, and then you start another project.
Right,
then
we
another
talked about
project,
that.
and you
Yeah,
go back
yeah.
around. But it's like, well, now you're so engrossed, so intensely.
Now you have 3 things
you're
going on instead of
fiending-
one.
Yeah, you're fiending so hard for the next one to go back to the other one to see the results of whatever beta testing or whatever you were doing to
Yeah,
then like
yeah,
redo it
yeah.
and have it run again. That you just like people aren't sleeping, they're not
Ooh.
getting up.
Yeah.
It's-
That's
yeah,
crazy.
It's
It's
crazy.
another thing. I feel like I mentioned this last time. How we just don't know how we're going to react to technology. It's like you can predict all these things and say, where things are headed, but I don't remember exact point I was making before, but we just don't know what's going to
Yeah.
happen.
I had
That was a really profound thought.
I had an interesting insight today.
Okay.
Um,
Probably more interesting than mine.
No, but it sort of pertains to the same. Like, I was talking with my client about AI taking jobs.
Yeah.
And he was sort of talking about how he has seen almost more. They need more people. There's more projects because AI has made things easier. That they actually need more people, and then
And he's saying this specifically with his company.
Yes.
Like they've noticed they need to hire more people.
Yes.
Okay.
But we got to talking about sort of a sense of purpose. He was talking about his buddy who used to work for a alcoholic beverage company,
Okay.
and basically how he was in sales there, and they've basically got rid of all their sales force because people aren't drinking as much anymore.
Right.
So it's a job that sort of has disappeared. And he's like, his friend is really struggling. Like his wife makes good money. He doesn't need to necessarily work, but he feels like he needs to. And he's
Yeah.
been searching for like 6 months for another gig. Can't find something. He needs this sense of purpose, something to do. We've talked about it multiple times. What are people going to do when AI replaces their jobs?
Right.
We're going to have a crisis of purpose. And then I was like, will we though? Because
Yeah.
I hear from so many people all the time when they talk about their vacation or how tired and exhausted they are. I'll be like, well, what are you going to do with your time off? And they're like, I'm not going to do anything. And now that so many people have told me, I'm like, oh, you're going to Cancun? Cool. Or you guys going to like explore a cave or rent, ATVs or something? They're like, I'm not going to do anything. And I'm like, maybe there's a huge percentage of people who will be completely fine
Yeah.
not doing anything. Maybe we're worried about a crisis of purpose.
Right. That's not good. That's
That-
not there.
That's not real. And it's because, and this is what I said to my client today, I was like, this is the most common fallacy of every single person is you project yourself
Onto people.
onto other people.
Of course.
And so like
So guilty of that.
everybody I talk to and like most of the content I'm absorbing are by people who will have a crisis.
Well, what'll
who-
happen is, they'll be completely content without doing anything until they realize that they need to do something, and then they'll start working out of need again, and it'll be back to square one.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, then you're basically in The Sims.
Yeah.
Why are so many people attracted to video games where you're essentially like, Animal Crossing or all these games where your little avatar has to work a job.
Right.
They have to farm and they have to work a general store and they have to get groceries for people, whatever. You're developing a little avatar to do a thing, but you don't want to do anything, but you need to have something else that does something. So really you do want it in the end there, I guess. in some
Yeah.
capacity.
But I do think that maybe some people, and we'll find a way to, well, no, because I don't know, I'm not formulating this well, but if people lose their jobs and they're fine with losing their jobs because they don't want to do anything, well, that
Now you have
there's-
universal basic income or whatever. All of your basic needs are met.
well, if that's the case, then that's a different story. But
That's what I'm
that's
talking about.
unlikely.
Well, no, I mean, if there's a big enough upheaval in the workforce,
Yeah.
if a gigantic percentage of people, if half of the population
Yeah.
no longer their jobs don't exist because we've completely automated them away in a
Right.
magical way, this, who knows how quickly that'll happen. Some people say 100 years, some people say 5.
Right.
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 But all of a sudden, if you have millions and millions and millions of people who suddenly they spent 30 years in one career and now their job doesn't exist anymore,
Yeah.
well, we have to take care of them somehow.
Right.
Some of those people will have to have work or else they will be like, what am I doing? But I bet a bigger percentage than I originally thought. I was just having this thought today, like I've always been focused on this idea that we're going to have a crisis of identity,
Yeah.
that so many people are going to be concerned and lost.
Yeah.
But now I'm starting to think, maybe not.
They'll be fine.
Maybe
and then
they'll
they
be
are the ones
completely
that
fine.
just sit around and that's fine.
They're completely fine with
and-
it as long as Netflix has a new series and they can like get their groceries delivered.
Yeah.
Then they'll probably be fucking fine.
And then the people that want to work
Work-
will
will
work
work.
and find things and everyone will be happy.
Yeah, that's
Maybe.
what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Is that it's not as dystopian as I thought. We always imagine that.
I see. Mhm.
Yes, that's what I was trying to
Totally.
articulate.
No, I think, yeah. I think you said it perfectly and I misunderstood.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. We'll see what happens. Well, the thing is like, it'll just evolve.
I know.
We won't see what happens. We'll just experience what
You're
happens.
the frog in the pot. You
Yeah.
know? So like, all of a sudden, I mean, people are extremely adaptable. I mean, when
Yeah.
you look at COVID or anything, like, okay, this is what we're doing now. Everybody
Yeah.
just complies and does the thing. This is our existence. Like, okay, we have the internet. This is the internet now. Okay, we have this steam engine. Okay, cool. Like, people acclimate and it happens so rapidly.
And then we look back on the times before or during. It's just, you just remember it. It's a memory,
Yeah.
and
It's hard to remember.
it's hard to remember.
Our memories are very fallible. That's why they're not used in court. I mean, eyewitness testimony is used, but it's not admissible. So it's
Right.
not actual evidence.
Right.
Because our brains are foggy as fuck. You can't remember pain. That's why women will have more babies. You know, you can't remember tattoo pain. That's why people will get more tattoos. But like, I was just gonna say, I obviously was conscious before the internet. I vaguely remember dial-up.
Yeah.
I sometimes talk about anecdotal things, like how difficult things were before as far as like recording and stuff. But it's hard for me to really
Yeah.
actively have that memory right now. Like, yeah, I guess that was hard, but like now I can just voice record and it's so easy. Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool.
Do you remember before cell phones?
I do. I very much do. I also remember getting my first cell phone.
What was your first cell phone?
It was like a Motorola little.
Did it close? Click?
It closed, it clipped. It was like round and silver with a little black screen. My
On the
mom.
outside?
What?
The screen on the outside of it?
Uh huh.
Or-
Yeah. I think that was a Motorola or something. I got one kind of early because I was going to the barn.
Ah.
And my parents were like, it would make a lot of sense for her to have a cell phone so that she
Yeah.
can call us when she's done, or we just can get a hold of her, because they would just drop me off.
Yeah.
Sometimes they would stay. So I think I technically got my first cell phone in like 5th or 6th grade. And then I got like my real personal cell phone in 7th grade.
I think I told the anecdote on here about mine. That was the Hello Kitty phone that a little kid stole.
Wait, what?
Did I tell you this?
I don't know.
I feel like I said this before, but I was like, still in high school, but pretty late. Maybe junior or senior in high school.
Yeah.
And I think mine was because I was traveling like every other day to Cincinnati for college.
Right.
So while I was in high
taking these
school.
college classes.
And so I had this like a Nokia brick, but you could click on different faceplates.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And so
Yeah.
I was a very scene kid at the time. So I had a Hello Kitty faceplate
Nice.
on it, like
Yeah.
a girl's phone. And we went on like a little trip somewhere, like a group of high schoolers. We went ice skating somewhere, rural somewhere, and I sat my phone down. It was also like new. I wasn't used to having a cell phone.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you weren't looking at it all the time.
Right.
Because you didn't have
It was
social media or
just
shit.
a thing that went in your pocket
I
at that
think
point.
you could text, but it was limited. There was only so many, and you could pay for additional
Oh yeah.
text.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And you could play like Snake. Like
Yeah.
they had one game.
Uh-huh.
But then the phone disappeared. And so it was a bummer. And I knew my parents were going to be super pissed. But then we got a call,
Oh. I
and
remember
a
this.
woman was like, because I think she just called mom in the phone or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
And it turned out that a woman's little girl who was like 8 or 9
Thought it was a toy.
thought it was a toy.
Yeah.
And
it
it picked it
fucking
up.
Hello Kitty on
Yes,
it.
and it picked it up and had taken it home, so we ended up getting it back. But yeah, it did look like a toy.
Yeah,
You know.
I totally
And now,
get that.
now especially it would, because it looks so like old timey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like this is what like you think a cell phone, even though it would have been like 2002, it looks like it's from like the 80s in your brain or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Just completely antiquated
Mm-hmm.
everything. When I was walking home today and yesterday. Well, so yesterday I was walking home and it was fine outside. It was a little gray and it was pretty windy. And like everybody that I passed just looked weird and uncomfortable and like it was just weird vibes on the street. And today, every single person I passed on the way home, which I would say was a good 7 or 8 people, like smiled or like we acknowledged each other.
Was it sunnier?
Or
Was
way
sunnier,
sunnier,
yeah.
not as windy. It was just like night and day, the exact same path.
Mm-hmm.
I keep meaning to mention this, and I think it's very fitting for America 250. On my way to work and from work, but more so on the way to work because it's in the morning, I pass like one of the main immigration offices.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say maybe 70% of the time, there is a family or a person
of families.
or just people who, whether they just filed some sort
Mm-hmm.
of paperwork or I don't know if they, I'm sure they help you get, do the naturalization process, citizenship process and stuff. They don't do those ceremonies there. They do those at the courthouse. But people will like be standing there with like little American flags.
cute.
And
Yeah.
it is just like a really inspiring thing
Yeah.
to walk past, every other week or something.
I
don't
love
know,
it.
A few times a week.
No,
How
I've seen it
yeah.
as well, and you're just immediately like you feel patriotic.
You feel patriotic. It just, I think it's a cool way to look at America and
Yeah.
think that people still do want to come here. They still do believe in it. I have no idea what their stories are, but they look completely different than I do.
Well, they're
And
coming here
they're-
for a better life,
Right, exactly. And
They,
it's
they
just
think
like,
there's opportunity. I think we're learning that's the glory of the World Cup right now.
oh my God, I saw a funny thing today and it was like, the World Cup is like all the cousins getting together for the first time because their parents hate each other.
Yeah.
And so they never get to see each other, but like they're together and they all love each other and
Yeah.
it's awesome.
No, it really feels like there's hopefully nothing gets fucked up because there's like a magical thing happening, where people are so hyped. And I think the cool thing is also like keep seeing all these very sweet stories. I'm sure there's just as many negative ones, but I'm glad that the sweet ones are getting attention because
Yeah.
often they don't. But it's a lot of like Americans hyped to share what we have, like whatever.
Ranch dressing.
People are like, Americans don't have culture. It's like, well, clearly we fucking do.
Clearly we
do.
Oh my God, but this has nothing to do with the World Cup, but we watched that video last night of this like very Irish girl.
Oh yeah.
Talking about how she's been to America. I know
Yeah.
she at least mentioned having been to Florida and I think New York.
Yep.
But she's coming to Ohio for God knows what reason she's coming to Cleveland. And she's like, I'm so excited we're going to do the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I have to go to a Dick's Sporting Goods. Like,
I know.
I'm just so hyped. I was like, a Dick's Sporting Goods? Having just been to a Dick's.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a
I
funny
mean,
thing.
it's like a spectacle if you
But you don't
if
think
you've
that.
never been in a Dick's, you're like,
Absolutely.
oh shit.
What were some of the other things
I
she
can't
said?
remember.
The
Biscuits. She wants
Oh,
biscuits.
she wants biscuits and
But like
gravy.
American biscuits.
She wants
yeah.
biscuits and gravy. It was just really cute things that, once again, we think are just so commonplace because they are in our country
Yeah.
and in our culture,
I
but
saw-
not
so
to
there's-
everybody else.
There's this German football fan who's gone viral. Freddie, have you been following
Not
his
at all.
thing?
No.
But now he's like got like millions of followers. He's like blown up because he basically started the whole trend of like everywhere he went, he's like, this shit's crazy.
Okay.
Like I'm at a Buc-ee's, or I'm getting, this
Yeah.
barbecue, or I'm at a Cracker
Oh,
Barrel.
I've seen. I
And-
think I thought he was a player, but he's
No,
just
no.
a fan.
His
Okay.
his icon is a player. I think it's
Oh, that's what
I
it
think
is.
it's Ronaldo is his icon, but
Oh,
he's not a
okay,
player.
okay.
He's just a fan,
Oh,
and he's
got
going to he's going to a match.
Yes, because they were like he had like 500 followers and now he has like 5 million
Yeah.
or something, like almost overnight.
But so he just did Montreal,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, instead of flying, we're actually going to drive to
Best way to see America.
to New York. So, but the route is going to be through Detroit, but then Toledo and Cleveland and Pittsburgh.
Oh,
and So he's going
interesting.
to drive through.
Drive the
And
Rust Belt.
today, the governor, Mike DeWine, was like, listen, you're going through Toledo. He's like, if you're going through Toledo, go here. He's like, if you have a second to
It
stop.
came from the governor's account, though.
But
Yeah,
it was like
that's fun.
Sandusky, like you're going right by Cedar Point, like
You're
here's
right,
the
roller
shit.
coaster.
And the Rock Hall, he was like,
Yeah.
if you're going, he's like, stop by the Rock Hall because you're gonna love it.
That's so
like, yeah.
cool.
But I'm sure all the governors that like it's big enough.
Why would you not?
But they're it's
Yeah.
free promotion and tourism opportunity. But it's just fun that like everybody's on it, like
That's really cool.
in a very positive way.
Yeah.
He even I think DeWine's
Because we are actually proud
right
of
right,
where
right.
where we're from.
Yeah.
I think there's still a lot that people are very proud of. And pride is a hard thing to get rid of.
Yeah.
So I think so. That's really fun. Yes, I had seen a tiny bit about that, but I didn't realize all of that. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think the message started in German, like "Welcome, wie wahrscheinlich."
Willkommen.
Yeah.
Nice. That's the only word I know in German.
Uh,
Wo ist Monica?
Monica, yeah.
And boat.
So your dad always says that.
Yeah.
Say it again.
Wo ist Monica?
Just where is Monica?
I guess so.
She's in boat.
I know this
That
from
is-
my dad saying it to me. It could be complete. Well, we know my dad. He just makes up words.
Well, people, that's a dad thing.
Such a dad thing.
Um,
You know the word guacamole, but you decided to say guacamole
Oh,
or
always,
something.
yeah, always. It's just funny because your dad loves to say it, and it's from like a weird anecdote from his like teenage years.
It was just the high school. It was like the high
school
school
German.
textbook, German textbook,
Yeah.
which I think just the entire country had.
Yeah.
And so if you were learning German, everybody followed this same curriculum.
Yeah.
And one of the first things you learn is where's Monica?
Monica.
She's in the
Boat.
boat. It's a similar thing. Like I remember we learned one of like the main vocabulary words we learned in Spanish was roast suckling pig. And
Right.
everyone thought, I don't remember what it is right
Oh,
now.
I was like, you have to
I
know it.
God damn it, I can't remember what roast suckling pig is. But like, why? Why that?
Why that one?
Why that?
So my brother took German
Yeah.
in high school, and his sense of humor. It's always been the exact same. And so the only thing I remember from German is "Ich habe eine Feste in meine Hosen,"
Oh yeah.
which I have a party in my
My
pants.
pants. Yeah.
It's the only thing that I ever fucking learned in German. Yeah.
You're doing Italian on Duolingo.
See?
Do you have a favorite word or phrase or thing that's like just you're saying in your head over and over again?
I like
right now.
"See you soon" is just a presto.
A presto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anytime it's like you're saying bye or whatever.
presto.
A presto. Yeah.
Nice.
That's a fun one.
It's fun. I've heard you playing it a few times. Spanish and Italian.
Very similar.
Spanish, Italian, and French. I was going to say they're all romance languages, but not.
Yeah.
Like I I thought I was going to understand way more Italian than I am just by knowing more Spanish than Italian. I thought I'd be like, oh, he'll learn Italian, but I'll basically know Italian too. And I hear them saying things and you saying things, and I'm like, I have no fucking idea what
I
that
can't
means.
wait. Next year we'll do a little Spain and Italy.
That'll be
and
fun.
You'll take care of Spain and I'll take care of Italy.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'll be so fun. Okay, I like that idea. And most people do pair those two. So
Yeah, obviously.
that's
if you're
really
over there.
easy. Yeah.
And then we'll go to Basque and not understand anything.
oh my God, yeah.
I think they have their own identity entirely.
I think it's like
famous.
a very unique dialect
Yeah.
more than anything. But I think there are some more like native words
Right.
or I don't know.
I just
I really don't know. I've learned about the Basque region so many times, and for whatever reason, it is not stuck in my mind. But I know it's amazing.
I do know. I recall. I just remember there was a Bourdain
Yeah.
about Basque. And,
Which that'll romanticize anywhere.
well, obviously, I want to go everywhere he's been.
You know where I don't want to go? We were watching another video last night, and a girl and I guess her boyfriend, husband.
Oh, wherever they were.
Wherever they, I think they were in Italy or they were
Yeah.
somewhere, and they were like, "This is where Bourdain went," but she could not have been more obnoxiously Midwestern American.
She was the problem with her was she was overacting
Yeah.
for like a social media thing, and it just felt really gross. I was like, I just want to see like what you're
Yeah,
eating.
well,
or
she
what
fucked it up.
Yeah, yeah.
That just the magic of Bourdain is that he's not any of that.
No. Well, he doesn't act.
I
mean,
know.
The big thing, Bourdain was never acting.
I know exactly.
It was like as authentic.
It was just
as
so funny that she
possible.
was like, "This was a Bourdain hotspot," and
Yeah.
then she was there, and I was like, "Well, I don't want to go there at all because of you.
Yeah.
You're driving me crazy."
Yeah.
But yeah, the Bourdain thing.
It's
is-
always a fun thing to if you're in a city or a place where, you know, someone like Bourdain went. Just this is something I've said to people too. I'm like, the first time you visit a place, do all the touristy shit.
yeah.
Like, don't think it's not worth it. Go ahead and get that out of the way and just do it. There's a
Yeah.
reason.
There's a reason it is.
it is popular.
Yeah, it's like a cliche is a cliche because
but
it's
then
real.
yeah, if you ever go back, if you do like it and you want to see more, then you experience all the
Mm-hmm.
other things. But go ahead and just get all the shit out of the way. Like, I want to see if Bourdain recommended something, I'm gonna go try it.
Yeah.
You know.
yeah.
It probably went downhill because then it got
Popular,
but-
and then yeah, I was listening to How I Built This today. It's the guy. It's Star Restaurants. His name is like Steven.
But you said
Star,
there was
maybe?
Le Diplomat, right?
Yeah, so it's the restaurant group that has Le Diplomat and so many. I think there's 100 plus restaurants. Le Diplomat is where we've been in Washington D.C. But he was talking about a restaurant that he was part of that did get really popular. There's a line out the door every night. It was packed every night, and it shut down after 9 months because of that. Because then people stop wanting to go because they're like, "Oh, good luck getting in there. You'll never get in.
Right.
Like, fuck that place. Like, we're not going to go. It's impossible." And he was like, "So there's pros and cons, obviously."
Didn't we watch a video about how they made that restaurant that was only open for one night, but it was like the most highly rated restaurant in New York City, but it was all fake? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
It was a whole thing where they basically launched what is it? Tummy is the app or whatever where you put down like people who are like foodies, where they but Yelp, they basically launched a restaurant that you couldn't get into
Okay.
because it didn't exist.
Yeah.
So they just made every reservation completely
Booked,
unavailable.
yeah.
And then they made a bunch of fake reviews.
Oh my
and then
God.
they had one day where they opened and it was just a dude's backyard. And all these reviewers and people like went and they had like a fake, but they trained like all their friends to be fake staff and the whole thing, and they made one fake meal.
Yeah.
And that was it. And it was like the highest reviewed restaurant. And people were writing up until they could get in. People were writing like crazy reviews about it and how like amazing it is and stuff. But it was all just fake hype.
Weird.
And it was an art project. Like
I was gonna say it was like a psychology
it's
project.
like a whole
yeah.
experiment about, but they
Yeah.
basically, it was just like, no matter how many times you called, you couldn't get in. And it was just like the dude's cell phone. He was just like,
Hilarious.
sorry, we don't have any,
Yeah,
we don't have any
yeah,
open.
yeah.
People were just like, you can't get in. It's crazy.
Hilarious. Yeah, I mean, similar to line culture, it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know of anything off the top of my head that I would want to try so badly, like we talked about before.
Yeah. I would never wait in line, you know. I would, but like getting a reservation,
Yeah.
like if it is a popular place or something that's
Yeah,
interesting, like
yeah.
I don't mind that. But what I don't like and what would immediately turn me off is showing up and then being like, okay, well, it's still going to be another hour. And it's like, well,
Oh yeah, well that's not worth it.
what's
I'm out
the
of
point
here.
the reservation?
I'll go
Never
somewhere
mind.
else. Yeah, yeah. I fucking hate when places do that and they just act like, sorry, we're just so busy and we can't. It's like, then plan your shit better.
Yeah.
Like having a reservation and then them not seating you within a reasonable amount of time is really annoying.
I understand, you know, it's not an exact science. Obviously,
No.
people overstay. You know,
Right.
you've calculated the average time for people, but it's like there's a limit
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
I think that's reasonable.
Meh.
Meh.
That's why I do not want to be in the restaurant business.
Do you think meh is universal? Because certain things like laughing or crying are
Yeah.
universal amongst any language.
Probably because I feel
With
like
body
it is
body
the
language,
most
it would signal.
natural way
Meh.
to make a sound when you make that face. Meh. I don't
No.
know.
But you have to have the body language
Eh.
with it.
Eh.
Eh.
Is probably more universal than meh.
Yeah.
I feel like meh's kind of, well, I don't know. Mess seems newer.
That was always one of my favorite things about that. Like there was that NPR story about the rise of country music in Africa,
Oh, right. Yeah.
you know, and it's because of the cry break.
Uh-huh.
So the term cry break is in country music when you go "Nah," like a
Yeah,
yodel,
people will call it like a yodel, but it's not a
yodel,
yodel.
but it's often employed, and that's very similar tones that they use in Indian and African music. Which, when you think about it, yeah, you can hear it.
Yeah.
And so they understand the emotional undertones to it. They
Exactly.
don't need to know the words
Right.
to be like, oh,
But it evokes the same emotion.
She's sad,
it evokes
or whatever,
The
yeah.
same, feeling. Yeah, a cry break. I didn't know that term for a long time. I think
I
you
love
taught
that.
it to
It's
me.
a great term.
It's such a good term. Chappell Roan does it all the time.
Yeah.
She's a big cry breaker in a lot of her songs. I like to do it. And a lot of people just naturally
You
do
do
it when they sing.
Well,
It's
which is why it's universal, I think.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That is interesting though about don't the Japanese they love rock and roll, right?
They love punk rock.
They love punk rock. Why?
The funny thing about the Japanese is they're famously the most polite crowds,
Yeah.
and they typically clap in unison.
Yeah.
Which
Do they
peop-
like jump and
They
clap, in unison? Yeah.
which is, I think, less now. Just these cultural things, you
yeah,
get more
they start
acclimated
to
with
blur
Western
a little
culture.
bit. Yeah.
But that was always like the big thing. Like you would hear, Cheap Trick, who do "I Want You to Want Me."
Yeah.
One of their biggest records is live at Budokan, which is
Okay.
in Japan.
Yeah.
And they were one of the first people who talked about it a lot from like the 70s and 80s. Like
Yeah.
it blew up in Japan, and it was like such a shock
Yeah.
because like you'd think they don't like it because they're actually pretty quiet during the set. Like when you're playing, they're kind of quiet.
Which is just awful if
Right,
you're
right,
trying to
because-
play.
But
yeah.
then they all like all together. It's like,
Oh, that's so
and you're like,
cool.
okay, cool,
Yeah.
all right.
That's so interesting. Yeah, I don't know where that comes from. Especially because, at least in Western culture, nobody can clap in unison or
Well, I think, yeah,
bob their head in unison or.
A lot of it's, the same reason Korean Airlines was famously bad for a long time.
yeah.
Is a lot of Asian cultures is based on respect.
Yeah.
In this intense thing where you respect authority, you respect the elders. Oh, these people.
Just hierarchical
So-
and then groupings of that.
These people are entertainers. They're here to entertain you. So during their performance,
You're respectfully
you're
quiet.
extremely respectful during their performance.
Yeah.
And you don't do anything until the performance is finished. And then you can acknowledge, but you still
Yeah.
do it in a respectful way.
Yeah, which I guess the just normal clapping, you just get in unison
yeah,
and
yeah.
you're not going to do anything crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that in Outliers? The
The Korean Air
Korean
thing,
Air
yeah,
thing,
yeah,
yeah.
And the whole that story was that, both of us are a little too young to really remember, but in the late '80s, early '90s, Korean Air became a joke because they had so many crashes,
yeah.
and they were going to go bankrupt. And what had happened is they had a culture at their airline, they're Korean,
Yeah.
where they would not question authority. So if the pilot was making a mistake, even if the co-pilot or a steward or somebody noticed an issue, you don't question the pilot. He's in the point of
Authoritative
authority.
position, yeah.
Yeah. So they ended up solving the problem by having them train with
LaGuardia.
LaGuardia staff.
Yeah.
Specifically the air traffic
control.
controllers.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I think it was a pretty short amount of time
Uh-huh.
that they were like, fuck you, no, turn around, like,
what are you doing?
What are you doing here? Like just a few months of that, and the Koreans were like, okay, okay, we got it, and it totally changed the
Yeah.
whole trajectory of the company, and they've been one of the safest airlines ever
Yeah.
since.
Yeah.
But it was like you had to shake them out of that identity.
Yeah. You can question. You
You
can.
need to, in
you
fact,
need
yeah.
to. You need to. Yeah. Yeah, it's not disrespectful. It's
Right.
for the safety
Yes.
of everybody.
Yes.
It's actually for the respect of your clients,
Yes.
your
Yeah.
customers.
But that's a funny thing. Outliers, I highly recommend. Very, very fun book if people have not read it.
Yeah,
a lot
really
of
cool.
analysis about the things that have made people or companies or groups of people successful other than just talent. What are the other factors?
Can you think of anything that's made you sort of an outlier in any of your endeavors or fields? Or
It would be difficult.
that's a loaded question. I
Well,
know.
it would be difficult because then like, I do not find. I don't think that I'm successful at anything.
Well, maybe not even in a
So it's hard.
successful way, but in just like where your interests have landed or.
For sure. I mean, I had the conversation this morning with 3 of our artists where everybody comments on what I wear
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
I get some sort of comment. So clearly, I do not look. The one thing I hear all the time at the club or anywhere is like, well, you don't look like a tattooer.
Right.
You know, even though
Right.
I have a ton of tattoos and knuckle tattoos, people are always like, well, you're not what I think of when I think of a tattooer.
Right,
You
right.
know? So, I mean, obviously, there's something there, right? That I'm doing something different than the majority, not all, but the majority of tattooers for sure, even just from a outward projection
Right.
standpoint. But yeah, I mean, outlier in a more general sense, babe, our whole lives are
Right,
outliers.
right.
We live a life that is like very outliery of
I'm
what.
just trying to think, like, I don't know, and I guess it's not really outlier, it's just like situational, like what was happening in your life that led you down this path, that led you down that path and stuff. So
I see.
probably kind of a stupid question, but
No. So you're talking more about like in the book Outliers, it's always examples of, well, of course, Bill Gates, we know him as
right.
the founder of Microsoft, but he was also going to like one of 2 schools that had a computer lab
exactly.
in the 1960s. And
Yeah.
so, of course, he would have been in a situation that pushed him in that direction or whatever.
You went to a high school that didn't really have sports. Did that push you more into the arts, or was it the fact that you had asthma growing up that?
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
100%. I would say
Just-
those are both factors.
Yeah,
you know?
which I guess to call it outliery is not really the point, but
No, but what are the other factors that contribute to this, where you're at? You know, and I think a lot of people, you can probably, it's funny because I don't like the word talent at all. It's always like almost always environmental. I think there's a nature versus nurture thing that we
well,
can
it's
talk
kind of
about.
fun to like look back at your life and sort
Totally.
of connect all the dots
Yeah.
and start to see things.
Your parents were very into alternative music,
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
so you
yeah.
had a different taste in music than a lot of peers. You know,
I feel like it's a good study to kind of look
Yeah.
back at your life in that with like that slight analytical lens to see. I was listening to another podcast, and this woman was talking about how she has some successful business, and she's talking to, I think, actually her son who was about to graduate high school, and like a group of his friends, and they were like, well, how do you know what you want to do when you grow up?
Yeah.
And she was like, well, you don't, or how
Right.
do you know like which path to take? And she was like, but what you do is she sort of explained it as, you do things, find your interests and start doing things, but then think about everything you're doing and the skills you're learning, kind of laying a stone, laying a pebble, creating the path that'll lead you to probably no real end destination, because
Yeah.
that's not a thing, like, that's death. But I just like that, like think of all the things you're doing as planting that little seed,
Yeah,
as
I
planting,
like
but
that.
but more so in a row. So it's creating the path towards it. You don't know what the end is, but so that you don't feel lost in those moments where it's like, okay, I'm doing something. You have to be doing something.
right?
And this is sort of my whole motto about, because I love to say like things will reveal themselves.
Yep.
But
I
you
love
have
that.
to be doing something for things to reveal itself. And it's not one thing. It's revealing then maybe the next direction you
Yeah.
take, or it's revealing the thing that you don't want to do. So you then, but as long as you're doing something, things reveal themselves.
Yeah.
It's when you stop and you just sit and you wait or you wonder, nothing's going to reveal itself in that moment because you're not moving forward.
I think 2 things happen. Nothing reveals itself, and then you get draped in intense stress because
Yeah.
inaction is the root of all stress.
Yeah.
So if you feel no direction and you're just extremely stressed, you have to be doing something. I like that a lot. Let's lay some stones.
You came home from a meeting yesterday and I was a little stressed, but I was also in the middle of a workout.
You were.
And I said, just stop. Don't tell me anything more about it. Let me think with it. But while I was thinking, I was physically moving my body
Yes.
for like 20 more minutes. And I came out of it like a whole new person. And I felt
Yeah.
completely differently about the situation. And there was that mind-body connection happening where I was sort of physically straining my brain,
worked through it.
physically straining my body, but they kind of like worked together, and I truly felt completely differently after 20 minutes.
Absolutely. Every CEO, every polymath from Newton to Einstein, every single person will tell you that if you have a problem or a thing you're trying to work on, then go do something physical. You know, whether it is you run, you swim, you lift a weight,
Take a walk.
You take a walk. A lot of it was taking a walk. You play an instrument. Famously, you know, Einstein played violin. And so, like, when something was stressful, he was trying to figure out a problem. There was a gigantic thing he was working on, like the nuclear bomb and shit. You would play the violin. You're trying to
Yeah.
figure out a problem. Well, you need to do something physical to help you work through the thought or the moment, and also emotional stuff too. If all of a sudden this extremely stressful thing happened, if you just sit still, it's only going to get bigger. You have to do something.
One, it's a distraction. Two, it's a way for your brain to work in a slightly different sense that kind of gives the stressful side a break, but also
Yeah.
keeps your brain moving. So then you can, I have this visual in my head and I don't know how to describe it right now.
There is something about your body doing something, and it's great if it's something with you're familiar with. That's why if you
Yeah.
walk or you run or if you
Yeah, maybe
sail a
don't
lot,
like try to
don't
start
try
something
to do something.
new.
But the idea is that you can let your mind wander while you're doing this physical thing, and it's easier for you to find those.
But your brain's still engaging.
You're finding those threads that you didn't see before because you were focused too hard.
Yeah.
It's like a magic eye photo or whatever.
exactly.
It's like if you look at it too intensely, you can't see anything.
Yeah.
You actually need to soften your focus to see all the edges.
It's the gorilla.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's what you bounce a basketball and you count how many times the
Let's see.
basketball is bouncing, and then
the Stanford prison experiment was the other. What is that one called? But
I don't remember.
Yeah, it's the gorilla. You're absolutely right. So we probably talked about this too, but there was an old study where they're having you watch a film,
Yeah.
and you're watching a group of students walk in a circle, and they're dribbling a basketball. You're right. You're supposed to count how
many
many
dribbles.
how many dribbles, and then at the end of it, they're like, "Did you see the gorilla?" And it was a huge percentage. They never see the gorilla.
Yeah.
And a guy in a gorilla suit walks out into the middle of this group of people, and then like dances around and walks back out. But you're so focused on the dribbling.
On the dribbling.
That's a really good example.
Yeah.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah. I love that one. I think it's so cool.
Yeah. Everyone
I would-
Google that because
I
that's a
would
real video.
Totally miss the gorilla.
Oh, well, absolutely. That's most
I know myself very well.
most people do, and that's like people should absolutely look it up because it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's a great metaphor for life.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Is it ribbon time?
Well, we're not doing Rubens
We're not?
because we had to get roast beef.
Oh, okay. Well, we're basically doing roast beef Reubens.
I feel like you can't call it a Reuben if it's not corned beef.
Well, you call it a turkey Reuben all the time.
God damn it, you're right.
Yeah. We're having roast beef Reubens.
I was gonna call it more like a roast beef melt because I was instead
Can
of
we call them Robins?
Robins. All right, we're inventing a new thing. Instead of doing like a classic Russian dressing, I was gonna do more like a creamy horseradish. And then
Okay.
I was
so,
gonna
so
put
yeah,
some.
these are Robins.
I was gonna put some roasted red pep on it.
Oh, all right. That sounds good too.
Yeah.
Well, the whole point was the reason we're doing this is because, and I said this morning, we went to the grocery store at what, 7:10 or something,
Yeah.
7-ish.
Do you know how they're timist?
They were so timist. I hate how grocery stores are timist. It's like, if you're open, have everything open.
Yeah.
What if that's the only time of day I can get to the grocery store because I work some crazy job?
Well, then you would just like get your groceries delivered.
What if I don't want to do that? What if I enjoy the grocery shopping experience? I want to pick out my stuff. Anyway, it was bullshit that like deli's not open, butcher's not open, seafood's not open, no fresh bread.
The bakery,
No,
yeah.
like, come on.
It's also like not a great Kroger.
Yeah, well, all that to say there was not any corned beef.
Yeah, not yet. Now it was behind the deli counter, but no one was there to slice it.
Yeah. That's fine. We're inventing something new. So
I think it's gonna be pretty fucking good.
I think it's going to be really good.
I think it's gonna be really good.
Robins.
Robins.
Red pepper Robins.
Yeah,
RPRs.
let's fucking do it.
Let's do it.
Bye.